Welcome back everyone. In this video, we will be covering the fourth topic of Chapter 1, Indian Economic Development, Industrial Sector on the Eve of Independence. Systematic deindustrialization is the term that describes the status of industrial sector during the British rule. Systematic deindustrialization. We've already learned that how the Indian handicraft industry was destroyed both in the international market as well as the domestic market. But how systematically this deindustrialization took place? Why? Because they needed our country, our economy for the purposes of supplying raw material, and also they needed a market for their industrial products, their industrial output, and that is why they systematically deindustrialized our economy. Decay of world famous traditional handicraft industry owing to discriminatory policies of the British government, and bleak growth of the modern industry owing to lack of investment opportunities. Now, on one hand, our Indian handicraft industry was decaying. On the other hand, we were moving towards a different kind of world, the modern technology, modern industry, in which since it was just the initiation, it was just the beginning phase, we were struggling and we were lacking investment opportunities in the modern industry. So one was going down and the other was not coming up as such. Decay of handicrafts. Prior to British rule, handicraft in India enjoyed the worldwide reputation of excellence and quality, but the British Raj contributed to their decay. It was owing to the discriminatory tariff policy, economic and political policies pursued by the British government. In terms of economic policy, they levied the export duty on our handicraft product, because of which they became uncompetitive, and obviously there were political factors because they needed Indian market for supplying of raw material and also the market for their industrial produce. It was owing to the discriminatory policy, and following points may be noted in this regard. Discriminatory tariff policy of the state. The British rule in India coincided with the Industrial Revolution in Britain. The British found India as the best source of raw material, as well as the best market for their industrial products. Accordingly, a discriminatory tariff policy was pursued. How? Our imports were duty free, our exports were duty free. Our imports and exports were limited just to Britain. Tariff free export of raw materials and tariff free import of British industrial products into India. But at the same time, heavy duty was placed on export of Indian handicraft products, which reduced their competitiveness in the international market. As a consequence, while the British products started gaining the Indian markets, the Indian handicraft products started losing their domestic as well as foreign market. How they lost their domestic market? Because we were now getting the machine-made British products, which couldn't our handicraft product, handmade products couldn't compete with them in terms of pricing and as well as in terms of precision, since they were machine-made. So decay of handicraft was the end result. Disappearance of princely courts. One of the feature of our decaying industrial sector was that of the disappearance of princely courts. These princely courts, the kings, the nawabs, used to patronage our Indian products, the handicraft products. They used to be very proud of India being able to export or maybe even show off the products that India was actually exporting. But with the advent of Britishers, the princely courts lost. The princes were overthrown, and ultimately the patronage was also lost. Prior to the British rule, Nawabs, Rajas, princes, emperors ruled different parts of the country. They used to patronize the handicrafts, because of which the Indian handicraft industry had acquired international reputation. The beginning of the British rule implied the end of princely courts. Consequently, the handicrafts started decaying. Competition from machine-made products. Now, our handmade handicrafts, handlooms couldn't compete with machine-made products, because machine-made products had particular precision, they had a particular quality, and their pricing was very much cheaper. Machine-made products from Britain were low-cost products and gave a stiff competition to the handicraft products in India. Also, machine-made products out-excelled Indian handicraft products in precision and quality. Competition forced the Indian craftsmen to shut down their enterprises. New patterns of demand. Now, on one hand, we were losing on our industry, the handicraft and the handloom. There was another class of people emerging. These people used to be very proud of being able to wear these machine-made British products. They started recognizing themselves with Britishers, and hence they chose the British products over their own nation's product, the Indian made origin products. Owing to the impact of British culture, a new class emerged in India, which was keen to adopt the Western lifestyle, and this changed the pattern of demand against the Indian products and in favor of the British products. In the process, the Indian industry started losing domestic market and ultimately perished. Introduction of railways. Railways, helped the Britishers. How? It helped them in a way that till now the sale of their products, the machine-made products, was limited to the metropolitans because they were not able to penetrate into the gullies of the Indian market. But with the advent of railways, they were actually able to penetrate into the small gullies and mohallas of India, and their market was able to expand. And ultimately, it further destroyed the Indian products market. With the introduction of railways, size of market for the low-cost British products tended to expand, while it started shrinking for the high-cost Indian products. This hastened and quickened the process of decay of the Indian handicrafts. Briefly, the British government converted the Indian economy into the colonial market for the British industrial goods. We were a market to them. They were able to sell their machine-made products in their country, implying exploitation of Indian market as a source of raw material. They were draining our natural resources for their industrial use, for the British industry, and a destination of demand for the British products. In the process, the handicraft industry in India was finally eliminated. Bleak or notional growth of modern industry. On one hand, where we lost our handloom handicraft industry. On another hand, we were in the initial phases of the rising of the modern industry, and we were not even having the enough sufficient investment into the modern industry. Under the British Raj, modern industry is only a bleak growth. Bleak is very little, small, very limited. It was only in the second half of the 19th century that the modern industry showed its emergence. Three observations need to be noted in this regard. Some industries were established by the private entrepreneurs. With time, private entrepreneurs were emerging. These included iron and steel, heavy industry. Iron and steel comes under heavy industries. Tata's Iron and Steel Company was founded in 1907. Sugar, cement, paper industries, and these were established in the wake of worldwide scarcity of industrial goods because of World Wars I and II. In fact, these little industries that were set up by the private entrepreneurs were also only established because there was high scarcity of these kind of products post World Wars I and II. The state participation in the process of modern industrialization was limited. Britishers were least interested in industrialization of India. Why will they? The only thing that they were focused on finding a market, and that is why the only area that they focused was in communication or in railways, because these were the things that were actually helping them in their motive of entire colonialization. So the state process was very limited. It was confined to such strategic areas like railways and means of communication. No other industry interested them, which helped expansion of Indian market for the British products. There was no capital goods industry. Capital goods industry is heavy industries that manufactures machines that helps us in industrialization. Capital goods industry produces goods like machines and industrial plants which are used for further industrialization, and we were lacking in that. In the absence of this industry, industrialization in India remained lopsided. Briefly, industrial sector on the eve of independence revealed four core characteristics pointing to its backwardness and limited growth. Handicraft industry was systematically destroyed by the British government. It was largely owing to the discriminatory tariff policy. Modern industry showed a bleak expansion. There was no reinvestment. There was no initiative by the British government because they were least interested. It was by and large restricted to the expansion of railways and communication. Communication was needed for administrative purposes, so that is why they showed little interest in that. It helped the expansion of Indian markets for the British products, the railways. Capital goods industry, which is the core element of industrial growth, was almost non-existent. While the traditional Indian industry, handicrafts were decaying, modern industry remained in the infant stage. And this again pointed to the backwardness of the Indian economy with little or no evidence of dynamic change. In the box, twofold motive behind the systematic deindustrialization. What was the motive? Raw material, market for their own products. To exploit India's wealth of raw material and primary products like cotton and jute, it was required to fulfill the emerging needs of the industrial inputs in the wake of Industrial Revolution in Britain, to exploit India as a potential market for the industrial products of Britain. The twin motive had twin consequence. हमारी handicraft industry gone. destruction of handicrafts in India, and impetus to the process of industrialization in Britain. It helped with the industrialization process of Britain. Okay, guys, we will be having our next video on the fifth topic, foreign trade under British rule. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you. Bye.